Hello everyone and welcome. We are here, we are live, and we are ready to get started here. Actually, why don't we get started? Let's go into mission control. That's always sort of the first place I like to get started, to sort of show people what's on the plate and kind of what the plan is. I only have two active contracts. One is this moon program strategy to plant a flag on the moon. That's not happening today. But what I do want to get done today, this is build and fly your first plane. Of course, I've flown my plane, the Juno 2, a number of times, but the one time I had this contract active, that was poor Warrior King's turn, and Warrior King came to a sticky end, and this contract came up as a fail, but I picked it up again, so I'm just going to do that. That should be a very, very quick one for us to do. Now, what else I'm looking at, what I really want to do today is build myself a better orbiter. Last Thursday, I unlocked a number of new parts, including better capsules that can hold a couple of Kerbals, have pressure control so the Kerbals don't have to be in their suits the whole time. I got bigger tanks, better engines, and I want to build something that's better that I'm going to use for quite some time into the future. So under career evolution, I want to pick up some contracts that kind of are going to help me along with that. And one of the ones under career evolution, if I go to crude milestones, I have this orbit for 1 week. I know it says first docking. I don't have docking ports unlocked yet, so we're going to go with this one. Orbit for 1 week. I want to put a Kerbal. Actually, I'll probably put 2 Kerbals and keep them up there for a week. That is number 1 to get. Number 2 I want to get is underneath Kerbal Academy. I've not used this group of mods yet. These are coming from the Giving Aircraft. No, they're not. They're a separate mod pack all themselves, Kerbal Academy. But I have this advanced piloting contract. Now, what Kerbal Academy is about is they give you tasks specifically for certain classes of Kerbals. This one obviously is for pilots. And actually, it even always specifies a pilot. So this one has to be Jebediah Kerman to do this. And what it is, it's a training exercise. And after you do it, the Kerbals get experience for it. So it's an alternate way for you to get experience, which I really like. What you have to be careful with is these don't make you money, they cost you money. So for instance, if you notice the advance, I'm going to use that word loosely, is minus 125,000 Kerb bucks. So when you pick it up, you lose 125,000 Kerb bucks. You don't gain it. And then when Jeb does the task, he earns experience for it and improves his piloting skill. And the task here is to launch into an equatorial orbit with an inclination below 55 degrees, and then change the inclination of the orbit so it's above 45 degrees. So we need to make a 45-degree plane change. I want to build a vessel capable of doing that. So this is going to be a significant step up from the vessels we've seen before. So I'm going to grab that one. Experience is always good. And then finally, I have a couple more here under good old rescue and recover. I got 2 Michaels here, Michael A and Michael O. I want to rescue them from orbit about Kerbin. And one of them says low orbit, so I'm hoping this is going to be, I get nervous with the 3 stars. Like, are they going to suddenly put this in some huge inclined orbit? Well, if it is, it is. That's fine. But the other one doesn't say lower orbit, it just says orbit. I have no idea, other than the fact this orbit's about Kerbin, just how big this orbit's going to be. Hopefully it will be it will be something that's doable. If it's some monstrous orbit that's like same as Mimis's orbit, that's going to be a challenge. But we'll see what we get. I'm going to grab it. Unfortunately, there's no way to know what these orbits are until you've actually grabbed the contract. So anyway, all of those contracts I just picked up are all for my new spacecraft that I want to build. It's not going to do them all at the same time, but I'm going to reuse the same design over and over again. In fact, I'm really rather nervous. I want to take a look at these 2 orbits. Make sure they're not crazy. So let's just put on that. All right, well, there's Michael A in an equatorial low orbit about Kerbin. That's easy peasy. And the other, oh, for gosh. All right, so Michael O's not getting rescued today. I'm going to have to do some figuring here. Oh my golly. So it looks like it's about the same altitude as the moon. Oh no! Is this going to mess him up? He's going to come around and get whacked by the moon in just under 4 days. Do I have to worry about that? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, that's a problem for another time. I'm going to have to work out. His altitude's about 11 kilometers, so just a little bit under the altitude of the moon. They shouldn't put them in orbits like this where they might hit them, get encountered with the moon. Wow. That's interesting. That's got me some things. There's all kinds of possibilities this opens up. But one thing at a time, one thing at a time. Oh, wow. I am so intrigued by this now, but I'm really getting off task. Let's be a little bit more reasonable. Now, what else do I want to take a look at? I want to take a look at strategy. So I'm going into the administrative building and boldly go to. This is a strategy I've had active for a little while. It adds 25,000 funds to science that is transmitted and recovered from new biomes, and 100,000 funds for science transmitted or recovered from new celestial bodies. At least the new biomes piece of it, I was sort of suspecting this over time, and I've had a couple of people in the comments confirm this to me, but I don't think this thing's doing anything. I think it's actually doing absolutely nothing. So it's just not working with Kerbalism. It has to do with how Kerbalism transmits to science and stuff. It's just not seeing that we're getting new science. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cancel this strategy. There that goes. And of course that opens up more strategies for me. One of the ones I want to get is Pilot Focus 2, the upgrade from Pilot Focus 1. What this does is adds 100,000% rewards to the tourism and giving aircraft purpose contracts. So it doubles the rewards. And all pilots perform as if they're one level higher than what they actually are. I think that's a great one. So I'm going to grab that. It cost me 65,000 Kerb bucks and 80 science. I can afford that. So boom. Yes, no refunds, it says. Too bad, I want it. And the other one that I'm looking at, let me take a look at, is, and I'm hoping this isn't a mistake. There it is. Local Science 3. Local Science 3 adds 150,000% bonus to KSC Science, 100,000% bonus to Kerbin Science. There is, the KSC Science doesn't matter because there is no KSC Science in Kerbalism, but I still got some science to collect around Kerbin. But the one I really like is minus 2% off science costs for research. If even that little piece of it works, I think that's worth the 50,000 Kerb bucks. For this guy, so I'm gonna grab that one. There we go. Okay, so there we go. That's happy there. I'm gonna close that, and let's do. I think I'm pretty good. Yes, let's get into here and let's fly that Juno for that fly your first plane contract. So let's bring up the Juno 2. Juno 2 is the craft that makes me the most nervous. Let's get rid of this checklist. Oh yeah, I was messing about. Oh, this is not happening. I remember I was playing around with dropping things from it. I think that'll work with a bigger plane where dropping probes isn't as doesn't as dramatically affect the performance of the plane. Now I should check. Is my yeah, these wings have to go back. So we got to do some fixing here. These wings need to go back a bit. Be careful not to do the doorway. I think these ones should really go back a bit and maybe up a bit. That looks better. Yep. And in fact, what I'm also going to do, go to here, just move these outwards just a little bit so that the Kerbal has easier time getting in and out of the hatch. All right, and I also want to check, because this is what killed poor Warrior King, that the authority limiters haven't reset on me. They have not. So let's save that Juno 2. Get off the mass and the lift. Our contract is simply this one. Fly a plane. That's it. Gonna fly our first plane. So all we got to do is, there's a lot of things like you don't put solid rocket boosters and junk on it. Fly, come back, land, and it should be fine. Okay, we need a pilot. Remember, we need Jebediah to do that pilot training one. So really the only one, and Valentina's still not available, so the only one that I really got is Rob DV again. I'd love to get another pilot, and I'd also still, my only engineer is Bill. So I'd love to pick up an engineer. That's why I picked up a couple of rescue contracts too. Okay, and actually let's check the cargo. It's not going to need an EVA pack. Alright, we're saving, and we're launching. No, yes, launching. Okay. And might as well collect a little bit of science while we're at it. Let's put the brakes on here. Change our view to chase. SAS on, throttle up. And might as well collect a little bit of science too while we're at this sort of thing. So Juno 2, we'll put this on data. I don't have all the science that's over the water, so I might as well go and grab that. There's nothing to collect here, so we're just gonna go. So lights on, put the lights on, brakes off, punch it. Still not super duper happy with this plane. Okay, gently lift up, gently lift up. There we go. These are too big here at the back, but I don't have smaller plane parts. I think maybe my next thing to start thinking about is better plane parts, so we can build something that's a little bit more safe. Get the Weasley engines instead of these little Juno engines. Okay, we should be, as soon as we're over the water here, collecting some science, and let's get our contract so we can see it too. There's our contract. I think we got water science to collect. If we don't, I'm just going to turn this around. Oh, maybe I don't have water science to water. Oh, this can't still be shores. All right, well, this is going to go quick. I go on info. We are flying low over the water. Okay, we've gotten all the water science. Okay. Oh, yeah. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Let's turn around. We're just going to go around and go back. That's it. That's all she wrote. That little waypoint there is Warrior King's flag. In memory of Warrior King, to always remind me to be careful with these planes. Alright. Okay, so this is going to be much, much shorter. That's good. Leaves us more time to devote to getting that orbiter going. Okay. What's my speed at? I think the other, I gotta go to the highlands at some point in the mountains and collect science over those biomes. Slow down a little bit. Alright. Slowing down a little more. I come in too fast. There we are. Okay, it should be a little this way. Okay. Oh, and it got nice shadow right under me. That always is nice. And boop. Braking. We are going to stop at some point. Before we get to the end of the runway. Yeah, we are. I don't even have to land on the runway here. It's just land and stop anywhere safely. So, but we'll land on the runway. And boink, there we go. Okay, contract complete. First contract of the day. All right, recover. Yeah, I can go get the desert science as well. So yeah, those are the biomes that are fairly close by. I've done grasslands, I've done water, I've done shores. So I need to do highlands, desert, mountains. Should be what I really want to do. Oh, we got a strategy has changed. Oh, for slot machine. I'm not going to do the slot machine. And we got our first plane. Okay. Good, good, good. Let's get in here. We got to build ourselves something. That is the plan. A 2-crewed orbiter that's capable of doing some good. Alright, so let's get rid of our contract window. Let's keep the checklist to the side here. So my new pro bodies, I got the lander can now. That is a 2-crewed lander can, obviously modeled after the Apollo program landers. I do like it, but we're not landing on the moon. We have the Mark II command pod right there, capable of holding 2 Kerbals, and I have the 2-crewed P1. And you know, since our last orbiter featured the Onion capsule quite a lot and had a couple of these, I'm gonna use the Mark II one here. I think that's going to be it. So we're going to slap a heat shield underneath it because it needs that. Let's get the important stuff out of the way first. The bigger heat shield, of course. Oh, that just made my decision. Sorry, I'm changing my mind. I don't. This is a. Must be. Is this 1.875 meters on the bottom, or is it? Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah, that's 1.875 meters on the bottom of that, and I do not have a 1.875 meter heat shield. My biggest heat shield is 1.25 meters. So you're going back, and we are going to use this one, the 2-pod, the P capsule that has a spot for 2. I do like what Restock has added to these textures. They made them. These are really boring in stock, but Restock's done a nice job with the textures, and I love that it puts the little pips on here. So you know, this one's got 1. We'll put this, or 2. This one here has 1, because they are kind of, honestly, hard to tell apart. And this fella has already a blader on it, so I don't need to add a heat shield. The whole thing's covered in a heat shield. Okay, parachute right off the bat. Will that do? That should do, I think. I think it should. I mean, how much mass is it? It is 1.1 tons plus passengers, and this one is 1.8. So yeah, it should be fine with just that. Maybe we should test it at some point just to make sure, but should be good, should be good. Okay, that is that. And we can configure this so that, you know what, we'll configure it later. What I really want is to have, I want this thing to have about, I'm going to go for about 1,000 meters per second. Now, what do I got under payload? Or not 1,000, I'm sorry, about 2,500 meters per second. Okay, let's put on this little can here. Actually, no, you know what? Sorry, I keep changing my mind. This, I like kind of better. If you do this and you put on the interstage nodes, you do that, you got plenty of room to tuck in science and gizmos and batteries or whatever else, and then you can just close it off by building the fairing, and it's lighter than this is, so I like it. Oh, I also have a 1.8. Okay, I'm getting distracted. That's what we. Okay, let's start putting fuel on. Let's start thinking about that. So if I put that on, and if I put on a Terrier engine, this is just really roughly how much delta V am I talking about? 2134. I'd like it to be more. I want more. Okay, then let's think. I don't have a bigger fairing. No. I could. I don't want it to get too long. I don't know why I don't want it to get too long, but I just am not in the mood to get it too long. What do I got for tanks? I do have... Let's arrange these tanks by mass. What if I got into this kind of a conflagration? I mean, it's got to look good, right? I'm not sure if that's more or less fuel than what I just had. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. 2579 meters per second and 1.21 thrust to weight ratio, which is perfectly fine. Okay, we need to gear this thing up. Now, science is not going to be a thing for it, but I do have to make sure that life support works. If I get into configuring the pod, here it is here. We have 2 slots we can configure. One has to be the scrubber. Don't ever take off the scrubber. But I do want as well pressure control. So what this does mean is that this thing will not have a monoprop fuel cell, because that's the 3rd one. I'm just going to have to live with that and make sure that the solar is okay. Let's see. Let's put in also a hex probe body. And this is just so that this thing can fly without a pilot. I always think that's a good thing. And let's stick on some solar panels. And I think what I'm just going to do is put this on 6x symmetry. Just surround that. I think that looks good. Okay, and we're going to go a little bit deeper than that. Yep. Okay, and let me see. I did work out some stuff that I think this thing should need. Electrical storage, it doesn't need much. I'd like it to have at least 250. I can see here it's at 240 already. Let's just stick on like one of these. That's 440 electric charge. This should do fine as far as generation goes. Oh, let's add on, because there are no reaction wheels in this thing, some reaction wheels. The those are the big ones. The small ones will be fine. There we go. And you want the reaction wheels to be as close as you can to the center of mass. That's going to work out all right. And I think the generation is good. Communications, I think I need to have just a single communitron on this thing. Let's just stick one so it comes out over here. Might move things around in just a little bit. And I think that should be good. Can hold 2 sample slots. It won't need them. 10 megabytes of cargo. Oh, it has more than 10 megabytes of data storage, because there's also a further 2 in there. Really, I think I'm looking at the thing here. So what I do want to make sure, because these guys got to be in orbit for at least a week, is to make sure that, you know, they can survive, you know, for a week in orbit. So let's get to, we'll see here right now. If I get to food, it says they got 5 days of food, and that's with 2 Kerbals in it. You want to make sure, because if you take this out, notice that food now goes to perpetual, because no Kerbals don't eat any food. So if you're checking consumables, make sure you put it in a situation that reflects what you're going to have out there. They need to have a week's worth of food. 5 days. I don't want to cut it too finely either. If I get into here, I do have some food containers we can add on to this. There is this small life support box. For some reason it didn't grab it like that. And I also have this 0.625 meter container. Are they the same? This has 13 units of food. Oh, the small life support box is smaller. It's half the size. So this little box is half the size of this, and I'm assuming half the weight. So this puts me up to 43. I don't need that much food. 43 days of food. This is ridiculous. It's not a lot of weight. So what we're going to do is we're going to tuck this right in here. And this has food and water aboard. I now have 18 days of food, almost 19. And I have 15 days of water. I'm not going to mess with that. They can have extra. There's nothing wrong with having more. Oops. Let's make it orange. So that works out okay. If I go any more, they only have 5 days of oxygen. So we need to add on a small pressurized tank to provide them with some extra oxygen. Slide that right in there. They are now up to 27 days of oxygen, 15 days of food, 18 days of food, 15 days of water. So I'm going to take out a little bit of this oxygen. Just so that stuff's in sort of the same ballpark. 16 days of oxygen, 15 days of water, 18 days of food. I think that's good. I'm going to put this container on the other side here. And I'll color that one green or something. Actually, let's make it orange too. Just help them stand out a bit. Okay, so I'm thinking this is okay now. If I just, you know what? If I take off the interstage nodes, there, I can just click that onto the bottom. It won't let me do that. It's being that way. Uh-oh. Oh, I've really messed it up. Oh no, that was a mistake. Okay, let's Control Z backwards. There it is. Let's make this guy the root part. Maybe that will help. And then grab this and put it on there. There we go. And now take away the interstage nodes. That's a little bit better. Is that? There seems to be a double there, isn't there? Yes. All right. Okay. And then what we'll do, just to make sure this is nice and firm, is we'll add in some strutty struts under structure. I don't think these are necessary really, but I think they'll make it look better, so I'm going to do it. Like that, and we can color these. There. That looks okay. We'll put some lights in there and stuff in a little bit too. Okay, and if we keep going down here, we're good for food, water, and oxygen. Nitrogen. The nitrogen is used to repressurize the capsule as it loses air, and also every time you do an EVA, it evacuates the air that's in this capsule and you need to resupply it as well. There are 5 years worth of nitrogen, assuming we do no EVAs, but somewhere along here it should tell us, unless they took it away, how many EVAs we have available. I don't see anything that tells us how many EVAs we have available. You know what? It doesn't hurt to add on some nitrogen, so I'm going to add on a little bit of nitrogen. Because when they do an EVA, that nitrogen will disappear, and I think it helps to just stick one in there. So that is going to be nitrogen, nitrogen, nitrogen. There we go. And now it says 16 years of nitrogen. Let's take out about half of it. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be fine. They're only up for a week. And what color is this one going to be? Green. There we go. Yep. All right. I think that's it for the consumables. I do want to make sure. Okay, reliability. We have should go 2.5454. What is this? Average case estimate for the whole vessel, 2.54 malfunctions per year. That's not bad. It's not going to be up for that long. Nothing's up to high quality just yet. Redundancy. I like this redundancy thing. We have 2 means of attitude control, the reaction wheels and the engine. We have 6 means of power generation because of all the solar cells. We have only 1 means of communication. That's not a big deal. Only 1 means of life support. So if the life support breaks in here, yeah, we're in trouble. Maybe that is a good reason enough to actually put the habitat up to high quality habitat. Just for that. You do get a life support module unlocked later. I don't have it yet. So I think the fact that life support, there's only one life support, and landing, the only, yeah, that's the parachute. Parachutes don't fail, it should be fine. What is our delta V at? Still, how's our delta V gone up so much? It really can't be that high. Really? That seems excessive. It seems like it's gone up. I think it's confused. Yes, here we're only seeing 2390 meters per second. I don't think... I'm not quite sure what. Something in this has got it confused. So I'm ignoring Kerbal Engineer. I don't think it's right, but I do think this is right. 1.15 thrust to weight. I don't like that I only have one engine on it. That is something I'm not a fan of. Let's see if we can do something better with the engine situation. Because if this engine fails and they're stuck in space, that's going to be a bad time. So this engine has 60 kilonewtons. I don't want to get into, these are more, no. Oh, I now have the Poodle engine. That'll be overkill. That's not necessary. But I did have on the other rocket the Pug engine. That gives me better delta V too. It's 2616. And then what I did is I had Ant engines tucked in here, and I kind of liked how that ended up working out. I put Ant engines on three-way symmetry, and all that together has a thrust away. Ooh, it's pretty low. What if I go six-way symmetry on the Ants? Thrust to weight is 0.49. That's still too low. Shoot, this isn't going to work for me. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll put this back on. Let's change the textures around a bit. We'll go with a minimalist textures. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on, my only RCS things I have are these linear RCS ports. And I'm going to stick on, I'm going to stick on 6 of them for now. And really these are just backup propulsion. Now, I'm not sure I can get from Kerbal Engineer. I know it has an RCS setting, but yeah, it never seems to work for me. I don't know why it does, but I do have RCS build aid. There it is right here. This is a great one when you get into designing RCS for controls. But what I can do is just look at the engines, center mass, and thrust. It has a 0.28 thrust to weight ratio. And for an emergency situation where you just got to get these folks down, I think it'll be fine. In fact, I think I can get away with less of these. What happens with 4 of them? That's still 2.8? How does that work? Okay, I'm getting confused because it keeps saying the thrust to weight is still the same. Let's see. References that. Engines, parachutes, translation, attitude. They've changed the way this works a little bit on me. I'm getting confused. Okay, here. Direction right, left, up, down, forward. It says 6 kilonewtons with a mass of about close to 6 tons. So that'll be a thrust waste ratio about 0.1, I think. I'm just finding it weird how if you put it on engines, I don't think this is right. I'm not quite sure why. Okay. I think I'm going to go with 4 of them. I think that'll be fine. And again, this is backup propulsion. Now, oh, I know what's probably confusing the situation. I know what it is. Let's put this back on forward. There ain't no monoprop on this vessel. There is no monopropellant on this vessel. See, the delta V is 0 because there's no monopropellant in this thing here. So what I'm going to do is put on some monopropellant. These are 2 little cans here. Oh boy. Okay, we're going to start that again. Let's try two-way symmetry for now. Oh, that only gives me 26 meters per second at delta V. I'm not sure this is a good plan. Okay. Bad plan with these engines. I'm not going to do this. I'm going back to the ants. Because the ants use the same fuel. And what we'll do is not use the ants. That's a better plan. And then I got all that fuel. That makes way more sense. Yes. Actually, why not throw them in there if I'm going to use them? Sure, we can have more delta. There we go. So I'm going to go back to the ants as a backup engine. That looks better. Okay, let's turn off RCS build aid. I was too eager to get into monoprop. Oh, I do want monoprop though, because the monopropellant is used for EVA propellant. So we'll go back to putting on 2 of them. There. And we'll tuck these in. All right. Again, this is lying to me. I think this is right. 2282 meters per second at delta V. I would love it to have a smidge more fuel. What if... put on some of these hemispherical ones? I don't think it's counting it. Oh, it is. It's just not that much. I want it to get around 25. 6 of these? Ooh, that's not much. Okay. How about these baguettes? I don't want that many. Okay, it's not going to look like that, but there we go. I want to get up over 2,500 meters per second. Oh, I just don't like where these are ending up. Let's try this again. These are a little on the big side. They are monstrous. Oh my goodness, thank you, Coyote, for that generous donation. Here's my one-time commitment, worth getting up early for. Thank you very much. Just gonna change it to here. I just want to tuck these in a little bit better. Not sure I'm a fan, but I think I'm not in a position. You know what might work better? How much fuel's in these things? I used to tell you how much fuel. Now everything's confusing. Okay. I could do that, or I could simply like stick in something like this. Well, these guys are hemispherical and they're bigger. Oh, they're huge. What if I just put in something like this? That's smarter. Let's not. That works perfectly fine. That works perfectly fine. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna go with all this kind of darky color. There we go. There we go. We got that. We got a thrust to weight ratio 1.12. I'm perfectly happy with that. I'm ignoring this because I don't know why it's so confused. Let's go through our checklist. I know I'm missing lights, but I'm just thinking what else. So fine print of contracts. I should be checking that over. So if I go back to our contracts here, the Kerbal Academy flight contract. This is... oh, we can delete some of these, but we'll delete those later. This is for... what is this thing? This is the... but naming them after engines. So this is the Terrier. Carrier 1-A3 for the Ant engines. There we go. Okay, back to here. So this is the Terrier 1-A3. Create the mission. And we're going to orbit for a week. That's for this craft as well. Maybe not all the same mission. We're going to do some rescues. Oh, I just hid him. I didn't mean to hide him. Rescue Michael O. Add that. And Rescue Michael A. There we go. So let's go back to here. This thing also will have the Delta V to get both moon and Minmus orbits. So it should be pretty good. Okay, so advanced piloting, just a 45-degree plane change, has to have Jebediah aboard. Orbit for 1 week. Make sure there's nothing tricky here. Nope, be up for 7 days. Bring them back. And the rescue contract. So, okay, fine print is fine. Control is fine. Cabin space configured. How about those... Oh, no, there's actually backup reaction. There's 2 sets of reaction wheels because there's reaction wheels in the probe body. I've done the cabin space. I've looked at food, water, and oxygen. Waste, we won't worry about. Radiation protection, I'm not going to worry about, but not for this one, but perhaps in the future. Science is kind of irrelevant. We've collected all the science we got. Power generation is good. Electrical storage is good. Antenna strength is good. Antenna speed is good. Data storage is fine. Propulsion is fine. RCS is irrelevant. Parachute, right? There's a parachute up there. There it is. Thermal protection is fine. There's it later on there. Lights we'll get to. Upgrades. I think I'm okay. All I did was upgrade. The Terrier's 23 ignitions with the backup ants. I don't think I need to upgrade the engine. Maybe I'll upgrade the engine. What happens to my Delta V if I upgrade the engine? Upgrade the engine. That gives me 42 ignitions. And it only knocks off, well, it knocks off about 16 meters per second off the Delta V, but that's okay. So upgrades I've dealt with. Cargo. Check the cargo. Are there no Kerbals in here yet? I don't think it needs it. No, cargo's fine. We're fine. Thrust to weight's fine. Fairing deploy we'll deal with in just a little sec. And staging we'll look at in just a little bit. Okay, I think we're on to something here. I'm just now playing with textures. You always know you're closing in when you start playing with textures. I think it's better that way. All right, lights. Let's add on some lights. So lights are always important. We got the little spotlights. I'm going to use the little spotlights to just light up this interior part. Oh, it doesn't like me sticking them on there. Shoot. Okay. We're going to have to put them on here. 4-way symmetry on the lights, I guess, like this. And pitch angle. I'm going to angle them in just a little bit. I got to rotate them too. I can see that. You're going to be that way, aren't you? 90. Yeah, stinker. There. All right. They're not going to blink or anything. I think that should be good. Actually, and let's put on another group of 4 up here. I think so. And pitch angle. We has to make it look good. Aim them as far down as you can. Yeah, I think that's good. There, that one, yep. And these are just going to be light or white. Gray is good. Actually, I think I'm actually going to pitch these back a bit now that I'm looking at them. Yeah, we'll see how it looks like once we get it up there. Alright, so that's those lights. We need navigation lights. This is the top, so this is the right side here. Go there. 2-way symmetry. That window's in a bad spot. I guess it'll be here. I don't like it there. Okay, we're covering the window a little bit. Too bad. We're going to... Let's get rid of the contracts. This one is going to be green. I guess it's going to be white like that. And it is going to blink. Put the blink on, put the blink period down to ½ a second. And thank you very much in the super chat for, I'm sorry, Ikeson from the Venya. And if I mispronounced that, I apologized. But thank you very much for your support. R.I.P. Warrior King, yes. Okay, let's remove the symmetry on this one, because this one's going to be red. Blink on. Blink on. There we go. Blink on. Now that one has to blink on. Okay, I don't know what happened there. And 2 more red lights, or red and green lights, down this way. Where am I going to put? I'm going to put them here. We'll spin them around the other way. There we go. These ones won't blink. This one has to be green, and then we'll remove the symmetry, I think. Yeah, I think it's better with the dark. And then the other side is going to be red. And this is something, I don't know. I'll be honest. Perhaps one of my favorite sci-fi shows of all times is The Expanse. And there was just this scene where they lit up a ship. And at the back end of the ship, they had all these little red lights, and it looked cool. And I'm not trying to say that this will look as cool as a ship like that, but I'm gonna stick on any kind of a ship now that's carrying people or Kerbals. I'm gonna stick just a line of red lights like that on the back, just to help light them up. That is red now, I think. Yep. And then finally, let's see. Now finally, we want to put 1 blue light right above the hatch. Especially with this one where it's so hard to know exactly where the hatch is. That looks good. And that one's going to be blue. No blinkies. And we're going to put on the... This would be the ventral side. I'm going to put a pair of lights. One facing forward. And one facing backwards. And this is something I've just gotten into this. I don't think it looks bad to double these lights up like this. Move this up like that. Like that. And this one is going to be an amber light. Just make it a little bit more on the orange scale. Half-second interval, blink on. And this top one is going to be a white strobe, but the blink interval right down, blink on. And I think I'm going to call it. I think I'm going to call it that. That is our ship. All right. Oh, how did I end up with... Shoot. I need... Oh, yeah. Oh, no, this has still got less fuel in it. Ah. I ended up with 2384. I really want this to be just over 2500. Let's add just a little bit more fuel. Hopefully I can do this without it costing too much. 2 cans. Got into adding stuff. 4 cans. Okay, and then maybe 2 more cans here. I know there are lights. Can't have the lights in the way of the fuel. Okay, 2487 is close enough. What happens if can I change the color of these? That's white, that's dark. Is that the only 2 options I got? It is. Shoot. Okay. Let's see. We'll text them in a little bit. There. Just tuck them in a bit. We can live with that. It's all right. Maybe make this background one then a different color. I like the dark though. Yeah, you stinker. All right. Bump. Yeah, I think this is good. Now, what I want to do before we do this for realsy, I think I'm good. I got lights on there. We'll check the fairing deploys in just a little bit. There's not much to worry about with staging. I'm going to actually disable this fairing. Where's the disable the fairing thing? Take the, there, fairing stage. Take that off. Why in this capsule instead of the Mark 1? What ended up happening is that this one holds 2 Kerbals, so the Mark 1 only holds 1. I do have the Mark 2 capsule for those people that are coming in late, but the Mark 2 capsule requires a 1.875 meter heat shield, which I have yet to unlock, so this became the capsule that I'm going to use. That's why it's the way it is. Okay, I think this is not bad. Lights, we'll check the fair. Okay, what I want to do though is I want to test this in orbit just really briefly. So we're going to push the simulate. We're going to go to orbit selection. I'm going to hit Kerbin. 75 kilometers is fine. I'm going to use the KRASH simulator for this. And then we're going to put a booster on it. And I got a feeling this is going to require a brand new booster as well. So yeah, this is going to be a heavy build episode. But I'm hoping it will be worth it, because I'm hoping I'm creating a vessel here that I'm going to use repeatedly for some time. Oh, we're in the dark. That's a good time to... Oh, the lights are at wireframe, so that is not a good test of the lights. Okay, SAS on. Let's slap that onto the retrograde vector. Jebediah level 2. What on earth did he do to earn... Oh, that's because of the pilot thingy. Everybody gets... Or all the pilots get an extra level because of that Pilot 2 strategy. Look at all the extra doobers we got here. Okay, so what I want to do... Let's just punch this just real quick. I just want to make sure this thing will... boom. That this thing descends through the atmosphere okay and the parachute's okay. There we go. Look at that. You can just go straight to there. That's very pretty. And I'm going to do this quick. I just want to make sure the parachute's okay. All that stuff's okay. Okay, let's stage. They never did check the staging. Staging. Yep. Oh, and I'm on the wrong bit. Make that the root part. And now this thing has no... SAS on it anymore, so I really have. I mean, I do have SAS enabled, but I don't have reaction wheels in this thing, so it has no ability to. I have no ability to affect its orientation, but it should orient itself. You can see it's starting to now naturally onto the retrograde vector. The Pug 1-A3 pod that I've been using so far, which with 2 of these connected together, well, not 2 of these ones, 2 of the single crewed ones with a probe body in between. That one I could control because of the probe body that was between it. This one I have no control. I just want to get this over with quick. Poor Bob, only in space on simulation. He's yet to have done anything. Oh, batteries are almost empty. Let's turn off the lights. It's not a big deal if I run out of batteries. Because they're running the scrubber, but pretty soon these folks will be able to open a window and get rid of their CO2 that way. Maybe it might not be a bad idea to put a couple of batteries on this anyway. Maybe that's not entirely stupid. It'd be pretty easy to put a couple of the small batteries on it. All right. Oh, there's science. We'll see that science again. Site experiment from the moon. Still science coming in. That's what I love about Kerbalism and setting up all those probes and having them collecting science in the background, and it's just like you get this nice little flow of science always coming in for you. Okay, all I want to look at is when that thing is fully deployed. There it is. What's this speed? Oh, I'm sure this is fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, terminate the simulation. Let's get a booster under this thing. You think I need to add a chute? The Wolf says, may need to add a chute. My last pod ended up a Kerbal... Oop, don't know what... Oh, I think I have to hit close. There we go. I like them. Billy Ray says it's still a 2-man pod, and that's still small. And I go, I like them small. I'm a big fan of small. I think it's okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put... I mean, I could... You know what? People are making sense because I'm just thinking of something. Okay. And people always do make sense. I'm the one that doesn't make sense. I'm going to put a couple of batteries here. And I am going to lose this. Because I just realized what I do want to do is put on, of course, an escape tower on that. Yeah. I can probably get away with the smaller escape tower. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do, I need... Let's put on a couple of radial parachutes rather than what I had. I think that's better safe than sorry. Tuck them in a little bit. They don't quite sit on the round probes great. And then... What? This thing has a built-in decoupler. I think I can just do this. I think that's all I'm going to do. What? I got way too many frickin' engines. Let's put... Okay, that goes there, that goes there. That goes there, that goes there. And these are just engines. 3 carrier. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all of a sudden I was realizing I should put on a escape tower anyway. How am I fixed? I have so few structural pieces. It's just I don't like how close that is to the pod. I'm thinking more how a fairing's going to go around. You know what? I'm getting way too perfinicky about it. Way too perfinicky. Let's build a booster for this. So all told, my mass is 7.4 tons. How am I... I really want to make a brand new booster. Arrange these by mass. I mean, I do have this one. No, I want to make a new booster. I got new tanks, new booster time. Brand new booster. Brand new booster. So we're going to put on... Why do we have 2 of those? Well, one's a separator, one's a decoupler. I'm going to put on a thing there. And then under that, we're going to put a fairing. And... Yeah, I'm going to have the fairing. See if hopefully the fairing will be able to do everything here. It's a little tight. Good. See, this is the part I don't like, is how do I finish this part off? It's not going to let me. That's what the answer is. Okay, I got to come up with something here. All the way back. Go away. Okay, we're going to come up with something here. The easiest solution might be... I wish I had small construct... Oh, that looks terrible. I know what I can do. I know what I can do. I know what I can do. I'm going to put on this decoupler upside downy. I'm going to put that there. Just bear with me for a moment. We're going to switch it to the big tower too. But bear with me. That is going to be put on the interstage nodes. Just want to get some freaking clearance. There we go. And then I'm going to build the fairing down. Ho ho. Ho ho. Look at that. There we go. Haha, you cannot. Actually, you know what? Let's back up a little bit. If I just close this off right here. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And then up top, where's my, I'm going to put on the bigger of the two escape systems. There. That closes that off nicely, I think. I think that works for me. I'm going to put this on clamshell deploy. We'll test it in just a little bit. 6 sides. We'll up the force here a little bit. Let's set up an abort action group. Somebody was asking in the comments before, how do you trigger an abort while in flight? And it is the backspace key on a PC. So in the case of an abort, I'm going to want to fire this engine. And we're going to decouple right here. We will most certainly test this very soon. And we also are going to want to deploy that fairing. That should take care of the abort. And during the, oh my gosh, this thing's a mess. When I go to stage, normally, I need to get rid of all this. So to get rid of all this, I'm going to need to do that engine. Where is this decoupler? Oh my gosh, what a mess. Where's that decoupler? Right there. That and that need to go at the same time, along with the fairing. Push you all the way up to the top. Gonna fix all this again. That is, oh, that's just a guy on the bottom. That makes sense. And then these two are together. That makes sense. But this is gonna be here. We're gonna take the fairing off of the action groups, or off of this there. We're going, can I, yeah. And then actually even this, can I right click on that decoupler and take it staging? Yeah, let's disable this staging. And then we're gonna put that into an action group as well. Action group 5 is going to be to activate that engine, deploy the fairing. This is what I would do in flight during a normal ascent, just to get rid of the tower once it's up high enough, and decouple that. There, that should take care of that. Okay. Woo! All right, let's get this thing into orbit. So what are my biggest tanks that I have? My biggest tanks. Oh, I do have this. And I guess this is my biggest tank. Gotta make sure I don't build something that I can't lift. This is going to be a Bobcat. And well, let's put this on. Unfortunately, Kerbal Engineer really seems to be kind of messed up here. That's got to go on there. Oh, that's still 2.18. That's a lot. So this will be the about a. I don't know what's going on with the Delta V's now. It is really confused. I don't trust this number and I don't trust this number. I'm just gonna have to go with it. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Okay. Let's take these engines. Nah, I can't. This number now is saying that my thingy has... There's no way that's right. Oh, I think because it's considering the whole... Okay, everything's all messed up. That's okay. That's okay. 1,000 here. This is 2.18. It can probably add a bit more fuel on this. I'm mostly looking at the thrust to weight ratio. 2.04. That should be okay. So that's 1727. I need about another 1,000. Oops. I think these Delta V numbers are really goofed up. Oh, you think the root part? Oh, thank you. Just change the root part back to the capsule. Yay, everything I think is sensible now. I think, though, these numbers are wrong because I took this whole business out of the staging, so it's counting the weight of all of this in this delta V. There we go. The root parts had it all confused. Okay. It's okay. We're working on it. We're working on it. I'm going to borrow about 1,000 from this into this. So that's 27. I want to add on about another 900 meters per second onto this. So if I can get this up around 3,600, I'm going to be happy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and stay away from SRBs because I now have these fuel lines. So I can do asparagus staging, which is so if it's almost cheatingly efficient. Oh wow, I still don't have very big radial decouplers. We'll go with these. So we're going to put these on here. And I'm going to go with some smaller, let's try this. Let's try that with, oh wow, I have a skipper engine now. Look at that. I didn't even know I can, oh my golly gumps. Look at that huge engine. Do I have a transfer part to go to 2 point? Let's just take a look at sizes. My problem might be I just don't have anything that's in the 2.5 meter. Oh. Okay. New plan. We're going big. Go big. Go big, go big, oh yes, go big. We're gonna put that there, that there, that there. My only 2.5 meter tanks are these ones, but I got a skipper engine now. I didn't realize I'd unlocked that. That is a lot of delta V. I think I can add another one of these tanks. This thing's gonna be a beast. 0.9. We'll see how it flies. We'll see how it flies. But now that's 28. I want to add... Actually, I'm thinking this might be it. This could be it. I want to do about 1,000... I want this thing to finish off on the upper part of the atmosphere. And then this part... Okay. Let's get into some control. I do have the bigger reaction wheels now. You can stick these in here. That should help with the ascent. This thing is ugly as sin. Put the boat tail on it. That'll help. See? Let's go all dark. Yeah. Oh, it's a funny texture. So let's go orange. That's good. Orange, orange, orange. I like that. That's good. Okay. I'm thinking this is about 28.75 meters per second of vacuum delta V. The thrust is fine. I like that it's just a single engine because then you don't get those multiple engine failures you get with, I think this is something that could work for me. So, put on some launch clamps. Yeah, the skippers, I just didn't think I had the skipper yet. Put that on there. I'm really thinking I'm closing in on this. We'll test the fairing, deploy, and the staging and stuff in just a second. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's just tweak the thrust to weight ratio. So I'm going to put this on Atmo. I want to launch thrust to weight of about 1.33. I'm adjusting the gimbal, not the thrust. 1.32. 1.33. I think this is something. Well, it's something. I will say that. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to save this. We're just going to simulate this on the launch pad. And I want to simulate a couple of things. One, I want to simulate a pad abort and make sure that works okay. Let's get this up here. Do I worry about the torque readout in Engineer, Billy Ray says. And I say, yeah, sometimes, but I actually didn't look at, there was nothing I was doing here that really warranted, I think, worrying about the torque. Okay, maybe you got me. When I'm back in the VAB, I'm going to take a look at the torque that Kerbal Engineer says. Okay, so we're just going to test the abort. So we're going to practice doing an abort here. So that's the backspace key. There we go. And I did not lose... Oh, 5? There it goes. Okay, I got to remember that. 5 gets rid of that. All right, that worked. That worked just duckily. So the abort system works fine. Okay, so we're going to go back, terminate that simulation. Revert to vehicle assembly. And I think I'm getting very close to really giving this a go. Somebody was saying, looking at the torque. Torque, the torques are very low. They have to be very low because I've been building things pretty much symmetrically. You got me paranoid. All right, let's change the color of this because everything else is, and I don't think... Oh, that just does... Okay, we'll just do that. Okay. There's our final product there. I don't know, I'm not sure... Maybe the fairing's better. The shiny ones look so silly. I think I'm gonna go... Let's go with that. I just got white on the top that I can't get rid of. Okay, we're gonna save that. Okay, I got one more new thing to show you that I have added onto this. I have added on Kerbal operating system into my list of mods, and if I go into control now, I have here the KR-2042B scriptable control system, and what this is a little computer that you can load in programs that I've already built, and I'm realizing I put this in a very bad... Shoot. I think I need to... Okay. Yeah, I think I need to make that the root part. I need to give myself a little bit of room. I did not think this through. That's going to need to go right in there. We'll redo these struts. Sorry, I should have. That works. And are these closing off there okay? Let's just redo this fairing just a little bit. I think it's okay. You know what? We'll live with it. I think it's good. Okay, let's save this again. So, what does this do for me? It allows me to do programs, and I do have a number of KOS programs that I've used in the past, and I'm going to show you my launch program that I have. It also, you can put in boot files. I have a couple of boot files. Boot number 1, what it does is it loads on a couple of programs for executing maneuver nodes and plotting orbits for you, which I like. Okay, so I want to show you KOS, and we're going to do a practice. I think this thing's ready for a practice launch. So let's save this, and let's simulate. This again, practice. First time with this booster. I just couldn't stay away from KOS, no. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about, I'm not going to do live coding. I don't think anything could be any boring than doing live coding. But if you are interested in having a discussion about coding, or if you want to just get these programs, they are all available on my Discord. Okay, so what that little boot file did that I had, I selected there, it opened up this little window. This is my terminal from where I run my programs, and it also loaded in a couple of programs for me. So if I hit list, oh, that's the entire shebang. Wait a minute, switch to 1. I think it also switched drives. 1 is the drive that's located on this vessel. Now if I hit list, yes, I have my Circat. Oh, I need to up the space. It's supposed to also copy over another program, but I don't think I have enough space. So I'll get into that. But I'm going to switch my drive to 0. 0 is, whoops, switch. I forgot the word 2. This is old school programming. 0 is the archive, and it's meant to be a computer like that's in mission control over here that holds all kinds of programs. Obviously, it is a program. It is really my computer where my programs are really stored. But in that, I do have a launch program. So I'm going to go launch. Whoops, I got to click back on the terminal. And this program, I've designed it to take a few parameters. Number 1, it asks you what is the inclination of the orbit you want. I want an inclination of 0. The second part is what's the altitude of the orbit you would like to get into. I want to get into an 80-kilometer orbit. And the third one, I have a parameter that allows me to have it fly up inverted, kind of upside down like the space shuttle does. If I put in an I, this thing will roll like a space shuttle does and go up in an inverted attitude. If I put in any other letter, I put in an N for not inverted, then it won't. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit enter, and I get an error. Why do I get an error? Oh, I'm supposed to type the word run. Oh my gosh, I'm off to an auspicious start here. N. Run launch with these parameters. There we go. So now it's giving us a countdown. Firing the engine, and then I got a... Whoa! This is why we test. What happened there? I think the staging got all messed up. Oh, well, no, look at the staging. Check your staging. Oh, my gosh. So fired the engine, and then I decoupled the pod. That's clearly not what I want to do. Move that out of the way. And the parachute. Oh my golly. How did the staging get so borked? Oh, because I know why. Again, root parts. Put the root part back. Okay. That, then the launch clamps. That's not right. Then this. And then all of these engines. Into that hole. You sillies. Okay, now I think this is sensible. So this needs to be up here. That's for when you do that. Bump, 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 bump. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Save that. Simulate. That was funny. All right. KOS is kind of similar in the sense to McJeb. I see that comment, a discussion of what it is, except you have to put in your own programs. And a rule that I have with KOS is I don't run a program that I didn't write. That's my rule. So that makes me feel like I'm still a spaceman. Spacemen write their own code. There we go. So there we go. We're going to run launch, 0 inclination, 80-kilometer altitude, not inverted attitude. And we're going to run that. And then we're going to get a little bit of a countdown again. 3, 2, 1. And then I'm hitting the space bar to do the release. Oh, we do have some wobbliness going. Okay, so some strutting is going to have to happen, but we'll see how this goes. We are testing this at the same time. Oh, yes, of course. What happened there is the script called an auto abort. It didn't like all that wobbling. It said, you're wobbling too much. I am going to abort on you whether you like it or not. And it did the abort, and as you can see, worked. It ejected the Kerbals away. So we got to fix up that. So we got a bit of wobbly happening. Where is that wobbling happening? This, of course, has nothing to do with KOS. This is just my crappy rocket design. I suspect we're getting wobbling down in this joint right here. So I'm going to take some of these. I'm going to use the auto strut feature. I used to think the auto strutting was a bit of a cheat, but given how wobbly KSP rockets can be, so I'm just going to auto strut all of these to the heaviest part. Maybe that one's probably okay. See if that stiffens this up a little bit. This whole business in here is probably very wonky. So I'm going to take that auto strut. That's why part of the reason why I put in these struts. It should be okay. And I'll do this one and auto strut it. Okay. Hopefully that will stiffen this up a little bit. Where's the auto strut? Auto strut to the heaviest part. Okay. Try this again. Simulate. This goofiness would have happened whether I used KOS or not. It's just KOS decided the goofiness was too much for it. It probably wouldn't have made it into orbit anyway. Okay, let's try this again. So run, launch, 080N, go. Hopefully this time it'll be a lot stiffer. Okay, release the hounds. That looks a lot better. Yep, okay, so that seemed to take care of it. And I do have the engine and the launch clamps on separate stages because Kerbalism can cause an engine failure right at launch. So I want to make sure that engine is running, and then I'm going to release the launch clamps. What I really should do is add a bit to the script that detects whether the thrust is nominal, and then if the thrust is nominal, it will make the decision whether to release the rocket or not rather than me doing it. I just haven't gotten around to that part yet. So right now I'm doing nothing. It's flying it completely by itself. It's picking its own trajectory, or not its own trajectory. I programmed the trajectory it is to follow. And I don't know, this is kind of nice. We do so many launches in this series, or in KSP in general. Just automate some of the things you do so much. And also, rather than me having to concentrate on what's going on with the launch, I can read through the chat and engage with the people in the chat rather than having to worry about staring at my screen all the time. So this is going to, oh, I realized one thing I don't. This is not going to stage this stage. So I got to be ready to stage that. I will talk about how that's going to work in just a little bit. And it has just reduced the throttle. Again, I'm trying to emulate the way I fly this, that once I get around a minute from apoapsis, it reduces the throttle. It's not looking at the time to apoapsis. It actually made that decision based upon altitude, and then picked an appropriate thrust-to-weight ratio. It's adjusting it to a thrust-to-weight ratio of 1.1, and then it's just going to hold to that. It's not changing the throttle. So actually the thrust-to-weight ratio is continually climbing as this thing loses mass through its fuel. But again, it did that. I did not do that. And it's building up apoapsis. It's locking itself to prograde now. Just switched to locking to that orbital prograde vector. I'm not sure what's going to happen first, whether I'm going to lose this stage or whether I'm going to get to an altitude of 50 kilometers. I think I'm going to lose the stage first. But I love that this is one giant stage as opposed to with all the radial boosters and all that kind of stuff. It's way more dependable. At 50 kilometers, it's going to stage all this business. There it goes. Nicey nice. Again, I didn't do that. It did that. And I got to do the staging once this stage is done, but I'll explain to you how I'm going to fix that in just a second. Oh, we got ourselves a 1202 alarm. The 1202 alarm, that's a bit of an inside joke. Oh, let's end the program. That's a bit of an inside joke because in Apollo 11, they keep talking about 1202 alarms and nobody knows what they are. And that happened because it detected a dramatic loss of thrust. And that's because that engine ran out of juice. So I'm going to fix that right now. I'm going to fix that right now by adding a very simple part that I simply forgot to add. So what we're going to do is under control, I have another mod installed called Smart Parts. I love this little mod called Smart Parts. They add all kinds of very simple automation features, and they do different things. They look for different events to occur, and then they can trigger staging events, or they can trigger action groups, or whatever you like. And the one I'm looking for is this one, the DrainX1 Fuel Sensor Action Group Trigger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right down here on my first stage, right there. I'm going to right click on it, and what this does is it's looking for the amount of liquid fuel that's in here, and when the amount of liquid fuel gets down to 0, it's going to activate a stage. So that will get it to stage at the appropriate time rather than me having to stage. And you can change this to other resources. Liquid fuel, of course, is fine. You can change this to other percentages. 0 is what I'm interested in. And you can change this to other events like action groups or whatever it is you like. The default is the sensible one for this, probably the thing I use it for the most. And so that's going to take care of the staging automatically. That should fix that 1202 alarm error that I got. So I think I am pretty confident with this thing. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do this for real. So we're going to launch this. We're going to do a rescue. So I'm going to launch it with Jebediah aboard, and I'm going to leave an empty seat for the person we're going to rescue. We're going to rescue one of our Michaels. And I'm going to save this, and I'm going to launch it. I am really confident we can get this in the air, and we can at the very least round up Michael, and then we'll see what else we can do with this thing. And Jebediah has to go in there because of the contract way at the very beginning of this, that pilot training contract. All right, this one's for real now. No reverts, no nothing. I'm gonna bring up my contracts. I need to have all the contracts associated with this vessel, and the one I'm looking at is rescuing either Michael O or Michael A, and one of them is in low orbit and one of them is in a stupid orbit way up here that I'll have to deal with at another time. But here comes Michael A right now. Let's set him as a target. He is in a pretty low orbit. I want to make sure that I'm going to be ahead of him because I'm going to launch into an orbit that's higher than him. So I'm going to time warp him around. And then we're going to do our launch. Got some more science from the moon. All right. And I just want to make sure right about there. Let's stop that. Okay, so we're going to do a launch. So I'm going to run my launch script. This time, again, 0 inclination, but I'm going to go into let's go into a 110 kilometer orbit. Be above them, again, not inverted. And we'll run that. I just gotta get ready to do the staging. I gotta fix that. It's something to fix in this is to fix the releasing of the launch clamps. I gotta add that bit to my script. So I've already forgotten. Who are we going after here? We are going after Michael A. Michael A is the one we're interested in, so let's open up that one. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of this launch script. I think it works really well, and if, again, people are interested in it, I do have a GitHub with a link in the Discord. Go to the Discord, go to KOS Help, and there's a KOS Help and sharing section there, and pinned to the top of that is a link to my GitHub if you want to download it and play with it. It does look for, like, if this thing suddenly lost control, it will do the abort for me, which I really like. If it, you know, did that 1202 error when it detected the problem with the thrust, which is actually kind of funny. Let's see here. There we go. And I think it's when it gets to 20 kilometers, it's going to nerf the thrust on this engine. Right now, it's just going to be at full. Okay, just cut thrust down. Limit the thrust to weight ratio to 0.1. For people that have watched my old series where I've used KOS before, this was quite a few months ago when I stopped doing that particular series. I have modified this program a little bit. It used to cut the thrust to weight ratio to 0.9, but then it kept adjusting the throttle to keep it at 0.9 as it lost fuel. Right now, it just does it 1.1 at the moment it does it, and then it doesn't adjust it any more than that. And I find it works. I think I like it better, and it more reflects the way I would fly it if I was flying it manually. Okay, locking on to the prograde vector. Claus says, love a good programming inside joke. Just watch out not to confuse your colleagues in the future. Yeah, inside jokes can be confusing. I hope I write reasonably clear code. I make no promises for people that look at it. I will emphasize coding, programming is not my profession. Okay. Oh, that was the fairing deploy. That was supposed to happen. I was waiting for the stage to go, and then I was paying attention to the wrong thing. I am not a programmer by profession. Coding is definitely at the hobby level for me. Okay, should stage here. Oh no! Okay, we're going to abandon this. Control C. Okay, obviously I got some work to do. Let's stage it. Throttle up. Come on, go. Okay, so I got work to do. Not quite sure what happened there. We got it, though. We got it. We got it. We were up high enough we could rescue it. Okay, so I know that didn't impress too many people. Let's close this. So I had to abort the program. So much for that 1202 error. It's okay, we got this. Apple Apps, this is at 100 kilometers. I want to go to about 110, I think. Okay, let's cut it. There we go. We can put our lights on. We can deploy our antenna. I did stick an antenna on here, right? I did. I should have put that on an action group too. And I'll work, okay, in the interim, I will try to figure out why that error came up. All right. Actually, I can show you one other thing I can do with, because it did load on. If I switch back to 0, I have a program called circat. And if I go circat apps, I think it is. No, maybe it's circ at run circat. Oh my god, I don't know. It's been too long and now I don't know my own appo. There it goes. What it just did was created the circularization node to get my nice circular orbit. See? It's not completely useless. Okay, let's go back to this. Alright, let's get up there. And I have a program and I forgot to up the hard drive space. It doesn't have enough room to... Actually, let's run it anyway. I know what I can do. I want to make this a KOS thing, try to impress people. If I switch back to the archive drive, I do have a program called Xman, which is a maneuver node executor. So it's going to execute the maneuver for me. It didn't load it onto the ship because I forgot to improve the size of the hard drive on this thing so it could do that. That was my fault. But let's see how well this program does. I want to show something. But I like automating a lot of this stuff. Makes it all go kind of a bit faster. Good news, this ship is performing well, I think. So it's just got 166 meters per second left, and there's still 2,092 meters per second in the vessel. So I am really happy with what it has. It's going to have like about what, 1,800? 1,900, over 1,900 meters per second at delta V when this is all done. So again, I'm not doing this. This is the program doing it. Hopefully it'll perform better than the launch script did. And then it should be reducing throttle here at the end. Let's see how good a job it did. Did it create a nice circular orbit for me? Close that. We can now get rid of this. Burn is complete. And look at that, 111.6 by 111.3. That ain't bad. Good job. Okay. Let's put this onto the north. Not north. Yeah, it is north, but the normal vector. And let's go get our Kerbal. So, don't have this part automated. And I can see I'm going to need to come around a lot more than this. Okay, let's pop ahead in orbit. That was too much. Back. Okay. A little bit too much on the burn here. And honestly, this should help speed things up a little bit too. This is less of me fiddling. The less I spend fiddling, I think, the better. The other way. Oh, sometimes clicking on those little arrows. A little bit more on the retrograde front. Oh dear, what's happening here? Ah, it's being a pain. Oh no, I see what's going on. Okay. Try and get this in fairly close. Okay, I got one here, 0.7 kilometers. That's good enough. Let's do that one. So we've got to get ourselves to that maneuver node. And let's limit this thrust because it's a very, very small burn. Put that on prograde. And watch this from here. The purple markers were better. I don't know what. I get obsessed by not having the purple markers on there. That's just me. Oh, it's retrograde, of course, silly. Other way around. Other way. There we go. All right. We're almost ready. I'm going to start the burn when there's about 6 seconds before I'm supposed to, and then just go to half throttle. It's not a very long burn. There we go. About 600 meters separation. I think that's good. Jebediah. It's nice having the solar panels all the way around. I don't have to sit there fiddling with electricity all the time. So I'm hoping this will be a good vessel for me for a little while. Oh, there he goes. I see him blowing below me. Blowing by below me. Why not use the program for the maneuver execution? That was a good idea. ePlay says, why didn't you just use the program there? And the answer, I don't know. I tend to like to do... I trust myself more than I trust the program. So when it's a really tiny little burn, I have a tendency to just do it myself manually. That's just me. And it was a very tiny little burn. So I'm just trying to bring down that close encounter indicator. Again, we get these danger warnings about Michael. when we come in close, but then they go away once Kerbalism realizes, oh, he does have life support. He's okay. So just bring it in this close approach distance, less than about 250 meters now. 200 meters. Keep going in this direction until, oh my gosh, still going under 100 now. That's good. About 45 meters. Nice job, Jeb. Get in there closer. I'm glad I upgraded this engine. I don't have to worry about doing all these ignitions all the time. It's really close. I have to give a little bit more thrust because I noticed this time was still going down even while I was under thrust there. Okay, we'll let ourselves get in real close, and then we'll get them. Gotta be a little careful because you can actually... I should really push this off to the side a little bit because you can't actually blow him around. Okay, let's zero this out. 2, 1, and go. Okay, good enough. Back onto the normal vector here, and we'll rotate the hatch. There's the hatch with the blue light. Let's go meet Michael. Michael A is another pilot. Nice purple hair on you, Michael. This is like the Star Trek Discovery Michael. Obviously, she was named by Vulcans. Okay, board. Excellent. All right. So that is one piece of this. We got Michael, but we're not going to get ready to bring Michael down to Kerbin just yet. I'm looking at the time, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to put phase 2 of this mission onto Thursday. I'm going to pause it at this. Sorry to go mid-mission, but we got Michael. We've shown that this craft is ready. What I want to do next is I want to do this advanced piloting one, which is to change my inclination by 45 degrees. That is a lot. And if I were to do it exactly where I am right now, I probably don't have the Delta V to pull it off, but we'll do a little trick and bring the cost of that way down, and I'll show that to you on Thursday. And then I think probably keep them up here for a week and do this keep Kerbals up here for a week contract as well. But all of that is going to be for Thursday. So for now, I'm going to thank you all for watching, and all the people in the chat, all the people that are watching this at a later date, and I hope to see you all again on Thursday. Thanks, everybody.